Think these books are good and they're good for the earth.
Why that book is really good is because it shows the world what it's really like about. You should like eat really good things and stuff like that.
Meet Colleen Horde, teacher, writing specialist, and book author. And during the last 2 years, she's been extra busy writing 12 books, 5 of which have been published, with the remaining 7 being released later this year. The books cater to grades K to 3 and have simple but meaningful titles like My Green Lunch, My Safe Community, Clean and Green Energy, Need It or Want It, and What's My Role? She absolutely loves to write, and this feature is about what the process is like and why she does it.
Okay, I first started writing in 2010, and Rourke Publishing contacted me. I knew the editor-in-chief from another company I had worked for teaching teachers how to write, and she remembered me and she wanted to know if I wanted to write some books for them. And I was like, well, I guess I could. And I really had to, I sympathize with all the kids who have to take the WASL because they give me the prompt. I just can't sit down and write what I want on whatever subject it is. And that was pretty interesting, and I thought I had a lot of empathy for kids having to do that. And I think out of the books so far that are out, the 2 that are my favorite are What's My Role and Need It or Want It. And Need It or Want It was written up in one of the National Library magazines or newspapers. And the reason I really enjoyed writing that one is because I think today's kids are sometimes feel an attitude of entitlement, and so this one was able to talk to that there are people who, you have needs and you have wants, and some people are living with such basic needs, and we need to think about that. Well, it's interesting. I was really surprised at the process of how this whole publishing thing goes. They will give me my topic usually about September, and it's always right when school starts, my busiest time, and they'll say, okay, you have to have your first draft in 30 days or so, and then by the end of December, it all has to be the back and forth with the editor and what you're doing and all of that has to be done by December. And then you wait and you wait and you wait, and then all of a sudden it gets picked up again right before they come out, and that's in August. And then you get to see what the graphic artists or the illustrators have done. And when I have my deadlines to meet, I spend every weekend writing because school takes up a lot of time and I don't want to leave that focus. So when I'm teaching, and that's what I do. But on weekends, then that's my second job, is to write. And so when I have deadlines to meet, my husband, the last deadline I had to meet for 6 weekends in a row, Saturday and Sunday, I was at the kitchen table writing, trying to meet that deadline. So, and it comes in spurts. I'll have 40 days to get however many books that they assign me to get done first draft and send into them, and then it dies down for a while, and then I get it back, the second draft from the editor, and have to make changes, and then send it back. So it's in spurts. And I always tell the kids in my classroom when they don't like to revise, and I show them how many times I get something back to revise, or sometimes they have meetings, the company has meetings, I think, and they just change the direction they're going, and I'll have to revamp something. On the last series of books, I had to take them all back, and they were biographies I was writing, and put a timeline in. So I thought I was done, but I wasn't done. So it's very time consuming, but that's what I keep my weekends for. And then everything I learn about writing I bring into the classroom and share with the kids.
The books are fun and teach children about recycling, reusing material goods, conserving energy, and being safe. Cord currently teaches second grade at Grass Valley School in Camas, and it's clear from spending time with the class they enjoy her books too.
So when we are thinking of things to decompose in the landfill, do you think plastic's just going to break down very quickly? My Green Lunch, some of you have heard this before and some of you haven't, and we are using this book for the Eco Team. How many of you are on the Eco Team? Okay, so we will be doing something with this year. Last year we made a play out of it, and it never made it to the stage because we ran out of time. We just went to the first and second grade rooms. But this year we might be doing something different with it. So I'll just read that to you.
Okay, a green lunch. Do you know what a green lunch is? No, it isn't green beans and broccoli. A green lunch is a lunch that doesn't leave behind plastic wrapping. A green lunch is earth-friendly. Some packaged drinks aren't earth-friendly. The packages or containers are made from plastic that can't be recycled. So think green. It takes some packages more than 100 years to decompose.
I think they're good because they were written by my favorite person, Miss Horde. Give applause.
Okay. Since Colleen's been here the last couple of years, and Grass Valley, she started here last year. She was a great writer. She was a mentor for other schools. And Colleen has helped me expand it with reading her books and understanding how to write and how to make a picture correlate to what is written. And I guess that would probably be the greatest aspect, understanding that children in second grade need to not only know how to write, but get a visual understanding with the picture and how she relates that pictures to the writing and how important that is. It's at a different aspect of my writing to my kids.
This fall I was asked to write 3 biographies and 4 children's fiction books to use in the classroom and for teachers to use in the classroom. And the biographies were pretty much like what I had done with the social studies and the science books. And I was a little nervous about writing the children's fiction under a deadline and when it wasn't something that I had dreamed up. I've written children's books before on my own and brought into the classroom and shared with the kids, but nothing anybody had said, this is what we want it to be about and these are the characters you're going to use. So that took a lot of work and I was very nervous about it, and one of the characters that I wrote about, it took me at least 5 attempts and 5 completely different stories using this one character because I just couldn't get my arms wrapped around him. He wasn't quite my character, and I hadn't dreamt him up, so I just didn't know too much about him, and I had to create him as I was working. But I finally finished that, and I just finished, I think at the end of December. Those 7 books were all done in their first and second draft, and then they sent them back to me to do the timelines for the biographies. So I wasn't really done, and then I think they're all now with the illustrators or the graphic artists. So I will be getting them back when they're done with them. I really enjoy teaching the kids writing and bringing my enthusiasm into the classroom. And I found over the years that boys are more reluctant than girls to write. And so I've done a lot of research for boys and boys in writing and what makes it so that why don't they want to write. And it's kind of funny, they associate writing with a physical act, and they'll say, I don't like writing, it hurts my hand. So there's that whole physical kinesthetic part that goes with writing. Get them over that part. I don't know if it's fine motor skills and pencils or what, but Ralph Fletcher has done a lot of research on boys and writing, and some of the things that he has found out has really worked in my classroom. For instance, boys want to write with each other, and you would think girls would want to do that because they like to talk, but boys want to talk out what they're going to write about. There's a famous quote that boys write with verbs and girls write with nouns. I've noticed too, once I give boys really great writing or reading, for older kids, I always would give them, the boys that didn't want to write, I'd give them Gary Paulson. He's so, the man's man out there in the woods, and Hatchet, the famous book Hatchet, where the little boy's lost and he's conquering the nature and the bear and building fires. When I can get the boys hooked on an author like that, then they start to copy that kind of writing and bring their own experiences to the page, and then their confidence seems to soar and they start to write. And some teachers will say, well, I don't want them to write about violence and you don't want that. But if it's, I don't like to think of hunting and outdoors things and fishing as violence for those kids. It's things they love to do with their dads, and for the most part. And those are the things they like to bring to the page. And if they can write about soccer, because that's their life, then they'll write about it. So rather than giving them prompts about things that they have no background knowledge with, or can't even imagine what they would write about, you let them write from where they're at, where they're living, and then they write. One of the things I learned when I was coaching was everyone has the answers within, but you have to ask the right questions. And kids are the same way when I'm teaching writing. I'll ask them questions, why was it that way? Or why do you think that happened? Or tell me more about that. And you'll see their writing pouring out with that too, if you kind of coach them through it with those kind of coaching questions.